Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and welcome back to maybe a short review, possibly, maybe. Uh, um, I am here with a special guest. I am here with.
Nog Ross, the king of wishful drinking, aka the notorious OGP, a large fan, not large, but a fan, a big fan of going to see movies in the theater.
Which is good. If you just had to go to the theater instead of the
Oh,
theater,
yeah, yeah,
would
yeah,
it
yeah,
would
yeah.
it be a different experience?
Oh, totally. It would be a much lesser experience, and I probably would not enjoy the movie nearly as much.
Okay, well, there you go. And this is the movie that we're going to be talking about here. We're going to be talking about that movie
Ooh,
right there.
those guys!
So
Look at that! Look at that!
look at that. Look at that.
They look great. It's a fabulous cast right there.
Yeah, yeah. So this is we're going to be talking about Ballerina. So from the world, what is it? From the world of John Wick? Is that what they call it? Ballerina.
Yeah, I believe it's from the world of John Wick. Ballerina comes
Ballerina.
ballerina or something like that. Yes.
And did you? I'm going to start off right away. What
Sure.
is 1 to 5? What is your review on this? Because I'm angry about how this movie is doing. So I want
Oh,
people to know our reviews instantly. So 1 to 5.
a 1 to 5. It's a 5.
Okay.
I
One
give
to
it a. I
five
give
for
it. I give it a
me.
flat out 5.
5. 5. Yep.
Yeah.
Both of us give it a 5. So I don't get it. Are people seeing a different movie than we are? What's going on here?
That's a good question. When you look at the fan scores on Rotten Tomatoes, last I looked, like yesterday, it was sitting in a 93, tied for the highest rated film by the fans in the franchise. So people are loving this movie. The experts, if you will, the Rotten Tomatoes experts and some of the other reviewers out there are not scoring it quite as high. And I think they've given different reasons, but a lot of people look at action movies like they look at comedies. They're never going to score them as high as a drama, or a thriller or something. It's action, 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 action. And I think there's a little bit of bias. I wonder if some of the reviewers or some of the experts are going, well, this is just not John Wick. This is a girl taking over for John Wick, so I can't score it as high. But no, this was just as good as any John Wick movie. Granted, we would not have this movie if it weren't for John Wick paving
Right.
the way. But this is a great movie. And when I say 5, 5 is a perfect score. It's a pretty dang perfect movie. Now, is it my favorite movie or what I think the best movie of all time? No, but it checks every single box that I wanted from this movie. And I think there's just haters. There's people that have different reasons for giving lower scores. But when you look at the fans saying that this is in the 90s, that tells you that most fans are rating this like a 9 or a 10, and which would be like a 4.5 or a 5, on a 1 to 5 scale. So what the experts say a lot of times doesn't mesh with reality.
Yeah, I tend to think because I went onto YouTube and watched videos of like why did Ballerina fail, and stuff. And I tend to I blame Kevin Feige. I do. I blame him for saturating the market with so many bad girl boss movies that when you get good ones, and I'll throw Furiosa in there, and now Ballerina, they bomb
Yeah.
because people don't want to see this anymore. They don't want to see the Mary Sues. They don't want to see a 5'4", 100-pound girl, tackling some guy who looks like The Rock, and because they know that's impossible. But some of these movies explain that, and this Ballerina does. We see her from, and this will have spoilers. The movie's out long enough. It's bombed, so apparently nobody cares. So I think I'll say whatever I can because, well, and here's another thing. I blame women. Yeah, because what it is, if you guaranteed when they check to see who went to go see this movie, it's going to be men.
Oh yeah.
And same thing, Charlie's Angels, nobody went but men. All of these films that are female centered are like 90% men, 10% women. And women don't even seem to support other, women, like movies that have a strong female lead, like Furiosa or Ballerina, that are good movies. They're not. I don't know why not. Why would you not want to kind of see yourself on screen, kicking ass? And they just don't. They don't go. It's people don't seem to be like bros aimed at the gay community. No gay people went to go see this movie. And I know people who said that it was an insult to the gay community. So it's like, so nobody's seeing movies that are kind of based on themselves. And it's, I don't know. I think it's a huge shame. I also think that kind of that subtitle thing, that, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, Mad Max, the world of John Wick is a problem because John Wick is in this movie a good amount.
Yeah.
More than what we probably would have thought, from the trailer. He's on the poster and everything. But in something like Furiosa, it's some guy pretending to be Mad Max up on a cliff for, what was it? 5 seconds?
Yeah, I saw the movie once and I didn't see Fury Road, so I was lost. So
yeah, the Furiosa is a prequel, so it's okay. I guess you kind of, I mean, maybe you should see
I'm all right.
Road,
I'm all right. Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. It was all right, But when it comes to Ballerina, and I think I agree with what you're saying with the title. Moviegoers, anyone who regularly goes to the movie, has got a good dose of the trailer for Ballerina. We saw it for months coming out, and you would go see any type of action movie and you would see a Ballerina trailer. If you sat in the theater and you saw the Ballerina trailer, I think men or women would go, "Ooh, I want to see that." So it didn't matter the title. It didn't matter anything else. I think the regular theater goers went, there's your 50 million bucks that it made opening weekend. Now, the people that don't normally go to the theater, where the studio failed or where Lionsgate failed in pulling them in is, yes, this from the of John Wick. It's like, well, shit, is this John Wick or what is this? I don't know that this is going to be John Wick. What they should have billed this as is Ballerina, a John Wick story, or call it John Wick's Ballerina, something like that. Get John Wick, get Ballerina, get them together, make sure people see that. But when you're going from the world of blah 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 blah, all that stuff, I don't know that was the greatest title. If it was just Ballerina, something about John Wick, a little shorter, it would have been better. But also, looking at the trailer for this, there's a lot of movies. Take Snow White, for example. I watched the trailer for Snow White. I was like, this is DEI. This is very woke. This is stuff that does not interest me at all. Lead female actress, or Wicked, doesn't interest me at all. Lead females. I looked at the trailer for this and I went, this woman is a badass. I want to go see this movie because of this trailer. I didn't feel like an agenda. I didn't feel that we were worried about empowering women or anything. I just saw a woman in a great role, and you teased that John Wick was going to be there, and the color panel of the film and the way it's shot, it felt John Wick-ish in the trailer. So what they needed to do was find a better way to get this trailer to people, or a better way to market this to people that don't normally go to the theater. Because once you see that trailer, you're like, I'm sold. If there's a
Oh, I
woman who's
was.
like, yeah, if there's a woman who wants to see a badass woman, this is a good one to go see. But I think it's hard now because most people spend all day on their tablets or their phones, and they're not watching big screens anymore. So maybe they should have marketed this. Go onto Facebook and you can sell ads, and you can target the audience. They should have targeted women, or targeted, figure out what who the right people are to target with your ads. Something like that. Maybe they should, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know, but they should have done it better. But with this bombing, there's a lot of factors. But with this bombing, John Wick, the first one, only made $15 million opening weekend. So when you go into a movie like this, you have to say, what is our target audience? And how much do we really expect to make? Marvel Avengers, you're targeting kids, you're targeting teens, you're talking 20 somethings, you're talking old people, everybody, men, women, all. Who's the target audience for this? And I think maybe we made Ballerina a little too sexy, and some women thought this is going to be eye candy for the men, so I don't need to see that or something. So there was a lot of room for doing things differently with marketing, I think. And I think it would have made a difference.
Well, so I'm going to bring up so this here, clearly John Wick is right behind her. For me, I don't mind From the World of John Wick. That doesn't bother me because look how tiny it is. And then you have Ballerina. I don't mind because even the Continental, which you're watching right now, I'll be watching soon, also says From the World of, and then the spinoffs would probably say the same thing. Do you think that by having John Wick there, they're like, uh-oh, we know that the movie's not going to do well. Let's put John Wick there, so then people will go see the movie more. Do you think that he was kind of like a crutch for this?
Well, I seem to remember the first trailer release, and a lot of people said, From the World of John Wick, is John Wick even going to be in this movie? And I like, why? And then remember, the movie got pushed. It didn't meet its original release date. I think it got pushed a year. And I wonder if the initial response to the first trailer was so bad because you're saying From the World of John Wick, but we're not seeing John Wick. And then in the second trailer, you get to see John Wick. In the newer posters, you get to see John Wick. I think in the first media release, we did not know. A lot of people were asking the question, is John Wick going to be in this? And if you tell John Wick fans that John Wick is going to be in this movie for a few minutes or whatever, if you show any inclination of that, they're going to go. They are going to go. But again, that's John Wick fans. They're going to do it. They're going to go. So the question is now, the average moviegoer, how do you pull them in? And I think, From the World of John Wick, for somebody who maybe has not seen all the John Wicks or any of the John Wick movies, maybe I just don't know enough about that. And maybe for somebody who doesn't know anything about John Wick and they just see Ballerina, maybe they're thinking it's a movie about ballet or something. So I don't know. I would have maybe changed the posters or changed the name or something You know, and you don't want to call it badass ballerina or something like that. And I don't know. And that's why I don't work in that industry as far as, you know, like in a big high-rise building running Lionsgate naming movies, because I don't know what the market suggests the name should have been. But I think I would have probably done something different, because I mean, in their boardroom, they had to sit there and go, John Wick fans, after we release this second trailer and you see John Wick fans are coming. They're coming. How do we get the other fans? How do we get non-John Wick fans? And that's where they failed.
Yeah, it's a movie that does require homework, and people don't like, you know, oh, I think the trailer for Ballerina looks good, but I haven't seen the John Wick movies, or maybe I've only seen one of them. So it's like you do have to go back and watch some of these, because when I went to see it, loved it, and then came home, watched John Wick 3, because this takes place between 3 and 4, and it does match. So she is in John Wick 3, but it's from his perspective as he's walking through the dancers.
Eve the ballerina is not Anna, the cast member, not the actress, but that character is in part 3.
No, I think it's her. I think it's the actress.
Anna de Armas is in part 3. Oh,
I think it's her.
Okay.
I thought that the ballerina that was on stage and her feet were bleeding, because, you know, they would say, you know, she kept saying, you know, more, do it again, do it again. I thought that was her, but no, that's a different person. And then when you see John Wick walking in part 3, he looks at her and she is pulling the Band-Aids off of her nails.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's her. So that scene is in Ballerina, but then they switch it and put it from her perspective.
Okay. Unless she's not cast, according to her IMDb, she was not in part 3 or 4. I think maybe it was just an actress that looked like her or something. I'm on her IMDb right now. I'm looking at everything she's done, all the way back to 2006. So she's not there, but there are times where people aren't credited. Could be that.
I swear it looked just like her. So maybe it wasn't her, but it looked like her. So, but there is that connection. So my question would be, when was he sent in part 3? Because you would have to go through all of part 3, and then when that ends, that's when Angelica Houston, her character, would send him to go get Eve.
From what I understand, Ballerina, essentially in its entirety, takes place after 3, before 4. Well, aside from the flashback when Eve was a child, that's obviously different. But the current modern day timeline of Ballerina takes place between 3 and 4.
Right. So so he's walking through the theater. He sees Eve. She's taking the Band-Aids off. And then in Ballerina, we switch it. So she sees him while she's taking the Band-Aids off. And then they disappear. Angelica Houston and all that, they disappear. But it's not during part. So she's sending him to get Ballerina would have to, or get Eve, would have to be after part 3. And then he would do everything with her and then have to come back for part 4.
Yeah. I
was trying to figure
out.
I
wouldn't have a clue. Yeah.
Yeah, because while she's going through everything that she's going through in Ballerina, leading up to her point of view of John Wick walking by, her thing is going on at the same time as his, with him on the run, and then they meet up, and then at some point she would, yeah, because wasn't it something like 7 months later, and that's when she's doing the her first kill, and then they send John Wick. So it's there's a gap, and I tried to figure out exactly where that gap is. So
yeah. I'm looking, there's articles that say, okay, when the two meet at the theater, Eve is still a trainee trying to break into the contract killer business. She's looking for pointers from the best to ever do it. But at that point, John Wick is more than done with the assassin's life. Only months earlier, he was living the retired life and would have continued doing so if the group of Russian gangsters didn't kill his dog. When Eve asks him when Eve asks him how she can become an expert killer, his advice is simple: don't. No, he says, doesn't he say you already are? Or was this when she's younger?
when
He tells her walk out the
so
door. Oh yeah, because when she's younger, he tells her to walk out the door of that theater and leave the assassin's life.
yeah, that she has a choice, because she sees him, and then he leaves in part 3. So we leave her behind. We follow John Wick with whatever else he's doing in part 3. But then in Ballerina, when he passes her and she's doing the band-aids with her toes, we see what goes on after that, and that's when she kind of follows him to ask him ask the questions about being, yeah, like an assassin. And he has like very simple, answers for her.
So, but I think that happened when, so it says at the beginning of part 3, he was excommunicado. And I think they had just told him that he was excommunicado and they were walking him out or something like that. Or
yeah, he
maybe it
went
was
to,
around the time that when he got his excommunicado status that day.
well, yeah, because he goes to the church because like she owes him. So he's got like the coin, and it's like, you owe me. You told me that you would help me, when I came to you. And she's like, I don't want to help you. And he's like, no, you owe me. And then she's like, crap. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to do it. And then of course that's when the like arbitrator or whatever her name is, then when she starts going to each person who helped John Wick, and they're like, I need a finger, or I'm going to whip you, or whatever it is. Because I think it was 7. Everything was like 7 because it was 7 minutes. But there is that little connection. And it was funny is when you saw it before me, and I told you that I love flamethrowers. Give me a movie with a flamethrower and I'm on board. And you messaged me back going, "Oh, you are not going to be disappointed in this flamethrower." And it's in the trailer, so I don't think I'm ruining anything. There she is with the flamethrower, and this is my favorite part of the entire movie is the flamethrower. Then we got like a fire hose. We got dueling, flamethrowers. I was in heaven. I was in absolute heaven with this. And to me, that is just hot. You got a hot chick that kicks ass with a flamethrower. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, to me, it's iconic, like in Star Wars, the lightsaber battle, when you have, the 2 color lightsabers going, against each other. You had 2 flamethrowers, and I think you said, I think we spoiled a little bit already. I won't go too much into it, but you have the 2 flamethrowers going at each other. And then you have a flamethrower against a fire hose. And as I'm sitting there watching that, I'm seeing like, the flamethrower against a fire hose. And I'm like, this is like, I feel like it's iconic, like, like a red and a green or whatever color Luke Skywalker's blue, whatever it was, is his lightsaber. It's like, you know, Luke and Darth Vader's lightsaber battle, you know, or something iconic like that. So I thought it was great. It was such an epic scene, such a well done scene. And I mean, yeah, you take flamethrowers in movies, and usually you get, okay, boom, 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 shooting flamethrower, throw it aside, we're done, move on. This took flamethrowers to a whole new level. And what throughout the whole movie, there was, and John Wick franchise, you get unique kills. You get kills with you know, people getting killed in unique ways or with unique items. They really kept that going. There was some great kills with different types of items, crazy stuff. So the flamethrower was kind of like the icing on the cake of all that stuff. It was just, it was really good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was great, and I've mentioned many times that fire is the worst way to die, and so these, I mean, everybody's being caught on fire, and
Yeah.
it's even going back to 9/11 with the towers, is people were jumping out of the tower because they would rather die, jumping out than be engulfed with flames.
Yeah.
So it's that to me, when I saw that, I went, oh wow, fire is the worst way.
Yeah.
And she and I mean, they're just going for it.
And
So
so when you have, I think another cool thing about the flamethrower is that it adds, it makes it easier for the filmmakers to figure out what they're doing with the characters that aren't currently engaged, you know, with Eve, with the ballerina. One of my knocks on John Wick 4, and it takes, if you watch in the other movies, there are moments where you can find it. And not just John Wick movies, a lot of action movies, martial arts movies especially. You'll have, you know, the whatever, you'll have your hero, you have your badass guy, and then you're going to have a bad guy over here, and he's engaged with the bad guy, he's fighting him. But if there's multiple bad guys in the scene, you have the other ones kind of standing around, and they have to look busy. They have to look like, oh, I'm standing back up, oh, or I'm dizzy, you know, because he punched me and all this and that. In John Wick 4, there's like guys standing there going like, okay, is it my turn yet? And I'm like, if you watch the movie and don't look at John Wick and don't look at the guy that John Wick is engaged with, look at the other people on the screen. There are a lot of moments where you're like, oh, that's cringy, that's bad. Fire and all these people burning everywhere eliminates that, because they're all getting screwed over at the same time. So I just love how it takes care of a lot of problems at once.
So you messaged me that, and I did not respond because I figured at some point there might be a moment where I can counter that, because I think, especially with martial arts movies, and there's a lot of martial arts in this, there's a lot of Asian actors, and most of them are iconic in one way or another. It's a dance. It's a that's why the guys are waiting off. There's the respect of the fight. It's a dance. They wait because the one guy then wants, he could kill John Wick. He's got it. He has all that money. Two guys go after him. It's not, now you got to share the money. It's with like Bruce Lee and stuff like that. With when he's fighting a whole group of people, he's normally taking one on at a time. He knocks one guy off, and then another guy comes in. He knocks that guy off, another guy comes in. It's because it's the respect of the fight. It's a dance. There's a, and especially I think with John Wick, that it is it's something where it's choreographed to be artful. That it's so I look at it, it's kind of like with superhero movies. If you see that Batman's been knocked unconscious, you don't remove the cowl. I know they do in like Spider-Man 2 when Spider-Man saves everybody on the train, and the mask, well, I think it's like half off anyways. I mean, they're like, oh, he's just a kid. But there's the respect of the mask, that you don't remove the mask. And I think it's the same thing with fighting. Of what you're talking about is you five guys don't go in all at once. It's only one guy, and then the next guy, and then the next guy, and that's just kind of how martial arts movies work. Did I make sense at all?
And I understand what you're saying. And so for a movie, if you're gonna go like this is the way we're doing it, okay, that would never in a million years happen in the real world. If I'm walking down the street and let's say I'm Eve, I'm the ballerina, I'm the badass, and I'm sent to protect John Ward. And John Ward's dad is a mean guy. He's beating him up and stuff.
Yeah.
And then all these other thugs are there. If I go after John Ward's dad, all five of those other thugs are going to come at me at once and they're going to take me out. There's going to be no respecting the fight or any of that stuff. So if it's done in a movie, it's done in a movie. I don't like it. I can tell you in Ballerina, in John Wick 4 specifically, because I just watched those two. There are, and John Wick 1 doesn't have it as much, but John Wick 4 and Ballerina, especially right at the beginning of the movie of John Wick 4, there's, he's fighting and he knocks a guy down and he goes and now he's engaged with another guy and the other guy gets up and it's like, it's not like, okay, I'm waiting my turn. It's, oh, I'm trying to look busy over here, having a hard time standing up. And it's just not good, in my opinion. Ballerina has less of it. The flamethrower eliminates that problem. But like John Wick 4, one of the reasons that I just, it's not like, I don't know if I rated all the John Wick movies in order. I don't know if that's something you want to do during the video here or not, but John Wick 4 is ugh. I mean, it's a good movie, but it has problems. People talk about John Wick 4 like, oh my God, it's the greatest action movie of all time. And it's far from it, in my opinion.
It would be what I like my Jason Bourne, like the fourth Jason Bourne movie. It would be that where you have like, I think, Jason Bourne is a good film, but it's not the best in the series. Yeah. John Wick is part 4. It's a good film, but it's not the best in the series. I don't mind the people kind of waiting. I mean, they do give them something to do. Yeah, like you said, where it's like, oh my God, I'm dizzy because John Wick, punched me. But it doesn't bother me because I think they mostly do it with the martial arts scenes. But I mean, in John,
there's a lot where he's got a gun, and this is my problem: is John Wick is going to come kill you, so you need to do everything you can to take him out. And I just don't think they do that. It's more of for the choreography of the fight, and I understand we like the good choreography. So for the choreography of the fight, for it to look like a good fight, we need that person to kind of stand back and wait their turn. So we need that, especially you see in part 4, Keanu's age. You really see him, some of these rolls and tumbles and stuff. You're like, that took all day to get through that little roll right there. Whereas in John Wick 1 and 2, he was much more nimble. So I just think Father Time and doing a lot of this is catching up with his body. And that's why he's come out and said, I don't know if I could do another John Wick because of how physically intense it is. So who knows where that's going to go. But my opinion, John Wick 4 had a lot of those problems. Ballerina with the creativity fixed it. There was a couple moments where I was like, okay, this person could have got there quicker or something. But I think the use of the one-on-one combat is much preferred in my opinion, and they nailed it in Ballerina.
Okay. Yeah, because they normally, if you watch something, let's say from the 80s, and you got the big bad guy that's up there, and he kills one of his own men, nobody does anything. They're still under for some reason they they still work with the guy that just killed one of them. And then when the good guy comes in to kill the bad guy, it's one, 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 one. They're not all going in at the same time. So I think that
and
this is a
that's what I'm saying.
traditional way of doing it, especially if you're looking at the ninja movies from Canon and stuff. Is that I think that people you don't want everybody going in, because then you're going to lose the fight. You're going to lose. You can't see what's going on.
True. And that is why I have just completely trashed so many martial arts movies and things of that nature, because I understand why they do it, but it's not like realistic to me. And I understand a movie like Ballerina or John Wick is not realistic, but I want plausibility. I want realism in the situations. And I just don't feel like that would be the case. I would have rather just seen more one-on-one. I want to see John Wick running, a guy pop out, he whoops his ass. Running, guy pop out, he whoops his ass, or shoots him or whatever. And you had mentioned the Continental. So I had started watching the Continental. I'm through one episode. And John, I think when you get it and watch it, and so to tease an upcoming video, we're going to both get together and review the Continental after we've both seen it all. One of the things that I did like about the Continental, it starts off, it's very, very John Wick universe. Starts off with a bang, a lot of crazy action, violence, kills, just reckless abandon for human life. There's people coming, boom, 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 boom. We're killing them all. And what I love is the way John Wick kills people. If he shoots them in the chest, then he shoots them in the head. He'll go boom, boom. They do this. And these are all, the Continental is a prequel. So you're looking at the predecessors in this high table universe or whatever. These are the people that, preceded John Wick and, the people running things now. So the style of fighting, the style of killing and shooting, very, very similar. But in that first episode, I did not, because I've only seen the first episode, I did not have a problem at all with the martial arts, the hand-to-hand combat, or anything. I felt it was on par with John Wick 1, with Ballerina, not on par with John Wick 4. So far, I loved what we've got with the Continental. And it takes place when we know Winston is like the guy that in John Wick that's, is he the hotel manager, right? I think he's the manager, right?
Yeah.
So, and this is young Winston. Kind of, he is one of the characters in the Continental and working his way up, I guess, because it's only 3 episodes. The first one was like about an hour and a half. So I'm guessing they're all going to be about an hour and a half.
I think they're all like 90 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm figuring that by the end of the third one, we're going to know maybe how Winston got to where he got or whatever. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm enjoying it. I highly recommend it. I've heard even Fat Samurai Guy, who is the biggest John Wick fan I know, he even said he has not seen it because he heard people bashing it. After the first episode, I don't understand why. The cast is great, including Mel Gibson as Winston's predecessor. I love that. And he's good. Oh, he's good. So
does Mel have the beard, or did he shave it for this?
Mel is he is lacking a razor in this.
Oh, okay. So he's got the big beard. Okay.
He's not a big beard. He's not he's not Vamp Time big fake beard or anything, but he is he's definitely got growth. So but it's good. I highly recommend everybody check it out if you want to scratch a John Wick itch and you've seen all 5 of the movies and you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend it. It's at least the first episode, and I can't imagine that part 2 or 3 really fall off. So I'm excited to watch the other 2.
Yeah, because of your what you think of it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So I know that there was someone, I don't know if it was like Critical Drinker or maybe Midnight's Edge, sat there and said, they criticized the Continental, and they're like, oh well, we're not expecting a second season of that. And it's like, well, I don't know if it was meant to have a second season. Maybe it was just 3 90-minute movies and that's it. It's done. Yeah. So, I mean, who knows? But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I hope if we bridge the gap between Winston as a child, where it starts out with him as a child, and then we're, by the end of the first episode, he's an adult. If we bridge the gap to him taking his position at the Continental, I would be happy with that. So, but there's other characters and there's other things, not just characters, other things from John Wick that I was like, oh, that's cool. So yeah, I like it. It's good so far. So definitely got to watch that and Ballerina and all that. Did you want to? Because I'm just looking at the time. We've been going for a while, and if you're trying to keep it short, should we rank the movies?
Let's show off what we have first, and then we could do a ranking. Sure. Because I also have up here, like how much each movie made, and then I also have some stuff on Ballerina too. So we'll try to wrap this up with for it'd be like an hour, so maybe like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. So since you're my guest, would you like to go first?
Sure. And so everybody knows I am not the biggest action movie collector. I am a fan. I enjoy action movies, but I typically buy horror movies just because we can't buy them all. And I have a stack of movies. I'm going, I don't know where I'm going to put these. I have no space. So now I'm at the point where I usually have to take out a bad movie and just go, I'm never going to watch this again and get rid of it. So maybe I'm fine tuning my collection. With that said, I do not have, in fact, what I have is kind of embarrassing. I have John Wick 1 through 3 just on DVD. I think like a huge John Wick fan would probably have, if they're all out in 4K, they would most assuredly have them in 4K, maybe a box set with even part 4 in it. Now, I did see at Walmart recently, John Wick 1 through 4 on Blu-ray for $30. If anybody's in the market for those, Walmart has them right now. But I streamed them, and that's good enough for me because I'm just not a action movie collector. So this is the only thing I have. And, I couldn't even tell you if there's special features on them or anything. That's it. That's all I can say about that.
But you have a movie that is kind of connected to the.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to let you show yours and, get to it. And I was going to allow you to explain why we're showing that first.
Okay. Well, look, so all the John Wick movies I have are on Blu-ray. I don't have 4K. The first 3 have slip jackets. The 4th one does not. I was hoping that it would come with one, but it didn't. So I have, John Wick here, and it's got its little slip case. So I got that. And then got part 2 here. It's kind of got that reflective cover, which is kind of cool.
Nice, yeah.
And then that's also got its slip cover. And then 3, because I wanted to get them all this way because they all have similar covers. So like the part 3 has this type of cover, so same type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's got this. And I finally figured out, I looked it up. Parabellum, I looked up what that meant. Because I'm like, why is this the only one that has a subtitle? It means something like the beginning of war, or like an art of war, or this is war, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing, yeah, I still don't think it needs a subtitle, but that's, I was happy that John Wick 2 didn't have one, but 3, okay. And then part 4, same type of thing, but I need to find maybe on eBay the slip jacket for it. So I did buy it used because it is so frigging expensive to buy it new that I had to wait until somebody, had it cheap, but they didn't have the slip cover. But you can find these on eBay. A lot of people will just sell the slip cover. So I got that. But there is, and I'm going to swap these. So
Parabellum, the translation is, if you want peace, prepare for war.
There we go. Okay. And because that's the one that Winston says. He just goes, I think John Wick leaves, like, they did the countdown and it said 0. And he just says like parabellum. It's something like that. And I'm like, okay, now I need to look up what that word means.
Yeah. You talking about wanting all your movies to match. I just want to show a quick example of I am on the same boat with you with that. And that is why I went and got all of the Halloween movies. I had them already, but the Scream Factory release, I went and got every single Halloween movie up until the Abominations that came out from our I don't know if they're good friends anymore, but our former friends over there at Blumhouse that did Halloween, the new I can't even get it out, the new trilogy, because the last one doesn't even really exist in my mind, but that one I was like, I got them all on 4K, but
do you want to look at the back and see who produced those films?
Somebody unimportant to my life.
You want to see who did that? It might be a guy named Cliff Macmillan, maybe.
Let's see.
Could be, maybe.
Dean Cunley. John Carpenter. I don't see anybody named Cliff on here.
Down at the bottom.
John, I think you might be telling stories now. I think maybe that's
always got to throw my friendship with Cliff in there. So the next 2, and you have one of these, I believe. These are connected to, and so it'd be interesting when Nobody 2 comes out to see if there is any more connection. The problem is the studio, and that's where the problem lies. So John Wick is Lionsgate. Yes. Then there's nobody from the writer of John Wick, which is I love this film, and you got it on 4K, which is awesome. Have you seen the trailer for part 2?
Yes, and it looks so good. It's so good.
I love that they play the Lindsey Buckingham vacation song during it, because it really is. Yes. It's National Lampoon's Vacation, and just with him. So
if Chevy Chase was John Wick is what you have here.
Yeah. And so this is Universal. Then they did say also that Atomic Blonde is connected to the John Wick universe. And this was the one that they did say that they wanted to do have a team up between them two. And this is Universal.
Yeah.
So
probably
you can
never happen then.
Yeah, so these two can team up.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So and I think with it, this has been like fans or audience people saying that they exist in the same universe. I don't know if there's ever been an official statement from like the writers, directors, producers, or anybody that say that these do exist in the same universe. I think it's like a fan theory, a strong one, but a fan theory.
I forget who it was. It might have been the director or the writer, maybe even the producer of John Wick, that I guess people had asked them about it, and they said that they would like to do it, but it's a copyright thing. They can't do it because it's a different studio, you know, and it would probably cost a lot of money, you know, to have them together. But they have not confirmed it, but they also have not denied it. So
Yeah.
in my mind, they exist in the same world, especially Nobody and Atomic Blonde. I wonder if David, okay, the different directors, but yeah, I tend to think I would like to have them exist in the same world.
No, and there's no reason that Nobody and Atomic Blonde could not exist. Maybe they are, maybe, you know, in Nobody and Atomic Blonde, maybe the two characters, Bob Odenkirk and whatever her name is, made a
Charlize
deal.
Theron.
Thank you. Maybe they both, did like what John Wick had to do to get out of the life. He had to do that one mission to allow him to get out, the impossible mission. But if he completed it, he got to leave. So maybe they did something like that and they're living their normal lives or whatever. And they're, just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. So maybe something like that. But according to Google and according to Screen Rant, they are not connected and not in the same universe at all. But they do say there are a lot of fans that go like, there's too many similarities. So I don't know. I don't think there's any official connection, but we can sit here and go, you know what? Yeah, they do. They're in the same universe, and we're just going to pretend like they're those certain Marvel characters that we don't get because these people still own them, not these people. So, I don't know. It would be fun to see them in the same universe, but I kind of wonder, with the likes of John Wick being Lionsgate, is Nobody their answer to John Wick?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's
Because
possible.
every company is going to make their action movie or whatever. So.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to rank them? Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, was that all you had? You have oh yeah, because you showed your 4 movies and then those 2, and obviously you don't own Ballerina yet.
But I will. And that will be a film that I rarely buy when it comes out because it's going to be like $30 or $40. But yeah. I'll get it.
So my least favorite John Wick movie is number 3. Then my second, so we're going 5 movies because Ballerina's in this now. So number 5 is part 3. Number 4 is part 4. Number 3 is part 2. Boom, 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 boom. So that leaves John Wick 1 and Ballerina. And I give the nod to Ballerina as my favorite John Wick movie. So Ballerina, then John Wick 2, then 4, then 3.
Okay. Wow. I'm surprised that part 4 isn't the last one.
I hated 3. I turned 3 off and I didn't go back to watch it until part 4 was coming out. And I went like, I got to finish this movie. But when I was watching part 3, I was very Mr. Sunday Movies, more of the same. I was like, I just don't need a 3-hour John Wick movie fighting with no real new storyline. So it was just too much for me, and I had turned it off. So that's why and I hate Halle Berry's guts. Kidding, joking.
Wow.
But John Wick. Okay, so chapter 3 was 2 hours and 10 minutes. But I guess that was just too much for me. I had turned it off like after like 20 or 30 minutes or something, and didn't go back until right before part 4 came out.
Yeah, and part 4 is like 2 hours and 50 minutes. I remember I didn't see it in the theater, and
Yeah.
I purchased it and watched it, and I remember messaging you going, John Wick is 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so part 4, I wish we had more of Lawrence Fishburne in part 4. I mean, we get a good amount of Lawrence Fishburne, but I wanted more of him in that movie. One of the possible spin-offs would be like Lawrence Fishburne's character, but a younger version of him. Like a prequel-ish kind of thing. But part 4, toward the end, the end, like the final battle was just so fucking epic that that's why it gets the nod over part 3 for me.
Okay, so this is actually difficult for me.
It's pretty tough because
Um,
the John Wick movies, a lot of them, I mean, they're all, when you have 4 movies that are all good, because I'm not sitting here by any means saying John Wick 3 is bad or John Wick 4 is bad. I'm just saying I much prefer Ballerina, then John Wick 1, then John Wick 2 over 3 and 4. So it is very tough when you have movies that are all good to pick which one would be your favorite.
So this could easily change. So I'm saying John Wick 4 would be number 5.
Okay.
I'm kind of tired of the Skarsgårds, but I liked everything else, and he was fine. But I'm gonna say it's, and then I'm going to say part 2. And because I'm kind of also looking at the back to remind myself, then I'm going to say part 3. And I did like Halle Berry, and I think that she gets kind of screwed on these, like what she did, when she was in James Bond, Die Another Day. She played Jinx, and everybody thought that she was going to get her own film, and that never happened. And she's even brought that up. I liked her character in this. I like that she has the 2 dogs that just keep eating the guy's balls. So I like that. I like the idea of I forget, she's the arbitrator, I think is what she's called. I'm not 100% on that. But I like that she goes to each place, and, because you help this person, this is, something bad is going to happen to you, as your punishment. So I like that. And then I would probably say the John Wick, because we've seen it, but we've never seen it. I remember I didn't see this in the theater, and people kept telling me, you got to see it. He's killing people because they killed his dog. Yeah. And I'm like, his dog? And it's just like, yeah, it's a little more than that. It's, his wife and the car and all that. So I would say that this would be my number 2. And then,
I was trying to mute because, speaking of dogs, mine is out there going batshit for some reason. So I apologize.
And it's okay. And we're dog friendly, pet friendly. So, and then Ballerina. So that's where. So both of our favorite is Ballerina. And
something that I think you'll appreciate is there's another video that maybe I'll send you the link to. I'm not sure if you've seen these guys or not, but it was a video talking about being disappointed in Ballerina kind of bombing numbers wise because of all the potential spinoffs that you can get. And then they started talking about maybe spinoffs that are not necessarily in the works or in the think tanks, but spinoffs that would be good. And one they mentioned would be with Halle Berry's character, a spinoff with her, either a backstory or something, whatever, with her. And I think that would be cool. And hey, there you go. You have another lead female badass that Kevin Feige could try and ruin, or he could just stay away from, and people could not watch because they just don't watch lead female badasses.
Yeah, I think that there needs to be, because I know Donnie Yen, I think is how you say his last name. He is supposed to be doing a spinoff with his character. He's directing it.
Yeah.
And I think that that would be interesting because we do get a little bit of him listening to his daughter, and she may not even know that he's there. And you know, it's his character could be interesting. So, but because of Ballerina, you know, bombing, because I have up here, yeah, out of right now, out of all the John Wick movies, it is the one that is made the least. So we got like John Wick is, and I'm not going to go through the entire number, but like worldwide, John Wick was, you know, like 86 million. John Wick 2 was 174 million. John Wick 3 was 328 million. And then they just keep making more money. And then John Wick Chapter 4 was 440 million. And their budgets, like John Wick's budget was 20 million, part 2 was 40, part 3 was 75. Man, did they jump. And then part 4 is 100 million. And then Ballerina is 80 to 90 million, but it only made, as of now, or as of this, you know, Wikipedia, it's made 55 million.
55. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's here's the thing with the John Wick movies. You know, the opening weekend they haven't been box office blockbusters, but they get there eventually. So hopefully word of mouth, people go and see it, or when it gets on streaming, wherever it goes, hopefully it makes a boatload of money for what it's worth, whatever in physical media. Hopefully people buy it. And hopefully it gets there to where the studio feels comfortable moving forward with Donnie Yen's movie. And Donnie Yen's movie, as of today, is on IMDb as Untitled John Wick Kane spinoff, directed by Johnny Yen, stars Johnny Yen and Rina Sawayama, who was Akira in John Wick Chapter 4. So, you know, bringing back a couple characters from the John Wick Chapter 4. That would be a great movie. I would love to see that movie. And I want to see anything else you throw at us, John Wick universe wise. And one of the reasons that Ballerina is my favorite is there is more story. And there's Jeremy Johns comes out and like, too much story. I just give me more action. Well, that's why these movies don't do well, because they just have action. You know, you need a compelling story. We get this. We get a little girl whose father dies in her arms. We get an older girl who wants revenge because her father died in her arms, trying to go, doesn't care about her life, wants to avenge her father. And then we get a twist, and there's something else, like another little girl that she sees herself in, because the other little girl is missing her parents. And it's like, well, now I gotta avenge my parents and take care of this girl. So you get a good amount of story and depth, and you get character development in seeing them learning and going through and growing up. So I loved all that, in addition to just fighting and shooting and stuff. So with John Wick, man, the story is not that deep. It's just, we got to give this dude a reason to go kill a lot of people, and that's a lot of fun, you know. But it's like the movie The Raid. I don't know what it's made, but it's never going to make $1 billion, because it's people shooting and stuff, but there's no story. It's just people shooting. So, or fighting hand in hand. But Ballerina, I think they really, with how deep they went with the story, was such a good thing. Made me absolutely love it.
Yeah, I'm seeing here, this is from Screen Rant. It says, every upcoming John Wick movie or spinoff. So we have John Wick Chapter 5 delayed. Ballerina in development. So so this is an old article. Sophia spinoff rumored. John Wick TV show confirmed. John Wick and Nobody crossover rumored.
So yeah, that's where that's obviously older because the TV show came out, and the crossover.
Oh, so that'd be Continental. Okay.
Yeah, but let me see. I'll tell you the name of this channel. So if anybody wants to go see it, wow, talking about movies. Harvey Weinstein, the former Hollywood mogul who pleaded not guilty in his New York sex crimes case retrial, was found guilty of forcibly subjecting one criminal sex act in 2006 on Wednesday. So, Harvey, you're not getting out of jail anytime soon. Sorry. Where is this? Oh, here we go. Not that. Oh, here we go. The YouTuber is named John Campea. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Okay.
No.
So
this guy is a complete Disney shill. No,
okay.
I could not stand him.
Okay, I've never heard of him before. I've never heard of him before today. But I was shared this video, and it says, are these 5 potential John Wick spinoffs in trouble after Ballerina slow start? And that's where he mentions the current 5 potential spinoffs after Ballerina. And this video, is today. It's not old stuff. So if anybody wants to go find John Campea, don't look for the link on John Ward's page, as I'm sure he will not be sharing it, but you can just go type it in and find that video. Just search on YouTube 5 potential John Wick spinoffs if you want to see that video.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out here the directors. So I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but it's Chad, and he's the stuntman for Keanu Reeves in the Matrix movies, and they're kind of keeping consistent with this. So he directed part 1, 2, 3, and 4. He is also listed as directing part 5. Donnie Yen is listed as directing his own movie. And then you have an untitled prequel film directed by Shannon Tyndall. But the guy who did Ballerina, that is Kate Beckinsale's ex-husband. So he did Underworld Evolution, Live Free or Die Hard. He produced Underworld Rise of the Lycans. I got to interview the director for that for an Arrow DVD for Trick or Treat. He also directed Total Recall, the remake. He produced Underworld Blood Wars, and then directed Ballerina. So this guy has, among other things, TV shows, video games. I mean, he's done a ton of stuff. So I think that he was a very good choice to direct Ballerina. And you can, especially that flamethrower scene is that's with the over the head shots and just looking down as just the flamethrowers are just engulfing everything is just, I think that he was a great choice for this. So
yeah, it was really good. It was.
Yeah. So, okay. So anything else for Ballerina or John Wick? Or
I just say go watch it. Anybody, if you haven't seen it, if you're on the fence about it, go watch Ballerina.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs your support. So, and you're not hearing the stars coming out and saying the reason why the movie didn't, meet expectations is because, people are misogynist. So
well, and that's the beauty of it, is there is no agenda in this. So you're not going to be offended if you believe one way or another. It just go enjoy the movie. It's fine.
Yeah, and she gets her ass kicked a lot in this film. So she's not a Mary Sue. She even on her first assignment, I mean, she gets her ass kicked. So they do a very good job of showing this tiny woman, you know, beating up these big guys. So by the end of the movie, you believe that she could take these guys on. You know,
through smarts and using her abilities that she has. Yes. So yeah, they do a very good job with that. Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. Well, thank you, OGP.
I would be the notorious OGP to you, sir.
Okay. Wow.
I kid.
So I have to do first, middle, and last name, huh? Your first name is the?
Yeah, not the notorious OGP.
Okay, there we go. Well, and now everybody knows. So if you see him out in a restaurant, don't misname him.
no misnaming me, please.
So he'll get very upset and make a video about it. And
I will. I'll put on my Mickey Mouse ears, and damn it, it is on.
Yeah, you're already going around rating, you know, bathrooms. So, you know, that's all right, everybody. Some people probably know who we're talking about, but it's what a mess.
I like a good clean restaurant, a good clean bathroom. I like cleanliness. I'm a big fan of cleanliness.
Well, it is next to godliness.
And a good clean theater.
All right. On that note, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate you being here, especially if you made it to the end. And let us know down below, what is your favorite John Wick movie? If you want to give a ranking of all of them. And I don't know, throw in Ballerina because it counts. You know, maybe even throw in Nobody and Atomic Blonde in there too, if you want to. But, you know, if you want, let us know what you think. And I will see you on the next video. All right.
Bye, everybody. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up.
Hit that thumbs up. That's right.